In this video, we will be reviewing one of the most underrated flagship mice, the Attack Shark V5. We'll also be going over all the mouse's specs and rating them accordingly. And at the very end, I'll give the mouse an overall rating out of 10 to find out if this mouse is any good and whether you should get it or not. Anyways, let's first unbox it. And if you're not interested in the unboxing, you could skip straight to the review from the description. Now let's take a look at the mouse's specs and rate them. The first thing we'll talk about is the sensor. Now the sensor that this one comes with is going to be the PAW 3950 Max, which is an amazing and one of the best sensors out right now. You get a max DPI of 42,000, 750 IPS, and 60G acceleration, which by far is amazing. Like I said, one of the best. And there's only a couple of sensors that outperform this one by a small margin, which is why I'm gonna give this sensor a 9 out of 10. Moving on to latency and responsiveness. It has an NRF 52840 MCU from Nordic. It also has up to 8000 Hz wireless polling and 1000 wired, which once again is really good and one of the best. However, there are some that outperform it. That's why I'm gonna give it a 8.5 out of 10. Now let's talk about the mouse's clicks. The mouse uses Omron optical switches and is rated for about 100 million clicks. And although they are amazing switches, there are ones which simply outperform it. However, these are mostly just about personal preference, and me personally, I really like them, and I would even go as far as giving them a 9.5 out of 10. However, putting all my opinions aside, I would give them an 8 out of 10. Moving on to the mouse's build quality. It has a really solid shell which doesn't feel cheap at all. It has a nano ice coating which feels really nice and is actually grippy. It weighs about 53 grams, which isn't the lightest, but it's definitely still not bad. The mouse's shape is subjective, but it's also solid. Me personally, I like it. However, it's not my favorite. It has dual layer PTFE feet, which are once again amazing, but some mouses have slightly better ones. And here's the size of the mouse. You can pause to read it. Also fits medium to large hands. And I'd say I have somewhat big hands, so here's how that looks like. And it's pretty comfortable. I have no complaints. And I'd honestly give the build quality a 9 out of 10. Moving on to the mouse's battery. It has a 500 mAh battery and it uses USB-C, which is by far one of the best features it has. And that's why it's gonna get a 9 out of 10. Moving on to software. Now the software for this mouse is pretty good. It's not the best, but it's decent. And it has a bunch of options, all the way from DPI adjustment, polling rate control, macros, and even button remapping. It also has a bunch of other customization, even including the receiver. However, it does lack some things that other companies do include in their software. Not to mention that it isn't the best looking software either. With that being said, I still think the software is actually really good. I mean, it gets the job done and it is quite simple to navigate. But once again, compared to other ones, it does fall short. And that's why I'm gonna give software a 7.5 out of 10. And finally, for the overall rating of this mouse, I have to give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's an amazing mouse, and for the price it's even better. It offers a lot of things that are way above its price range without compromising the build quality, which in this economy is very surprising. And to answer the question from earlier, is this mouse any good and is it worth getting? And with all honesty, yes, 100%. And is this the best mouse currently out right now? No. There are mice that are better than this mouse in a couple categories, but comparing the price and everything else, then probably not. That's because the mouse offers the most value for your money, at least as far as I've seen, as this mouse quite literally offers everything you would want it to have without it being overkill, like many mouses out there. So if you're looking for a mouse that can rival the current best mice, then this is 100% a solid choice, as this is most likely the best value you will get for $70 without compromising anything else. So if you're thinking of getting this mouse, it's probably the perfect time. That's because the mouse right now is for $50. And don't worry, I did put the link in the description. Just in case you want to buy it, it's always going to be there. And that pretty much concludes today's video. So if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, I would highly appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. And I currently have 0 subs. So each and every single sub literally makes a difference. So I would highly appreciate it if you would consider doing so. Anyways, y'all stay safe, take care, and see you guys in the next video.